your thoughts in chaos? Here are the 3 powerful journaling exercises that will help you immediately gain mental clarity: the brain dump, the information processor, and the radical acceptance letter. These are the practical tools I have personally used to transform mental clutter into clarity and alignment. And today, I will walk you through exactly how to use each one of them, when to use them, and why they are so powerful. So let's get started. Let's start with why these exercises work so effectively. Every one of them targets its own area of mental fog, be it too many so-called to-do items, too much information overall, or too much emotional turmoil. The way I like to see it, your mind works like a computer. Every uncompleted task or every unprocessed thought consumes mental RAM. The more open programs you have running, the less processing power you have for creativity, decision-making, or simply being present. And also, the faster you run out of battery. Clarity is one of the key pillars of resilience and mental health, but clarity is also incredibly practical. We all know that it's nearly impossible to be productive when you have too much going on in your mind. These exercises are impartial. It doesn't matter whether you want to use them to feel calmer and more aligned, or if you simply need more headspace to get your work done. They will work regardless. And the first one will help you get that sad headspace in less than 10 minutes. So the first exercise, the brain dump. Yes, the brain dump. You've heard of it before, you probably use it as part of your weekly reset, and it's nothing new. In fact, none of the exercises are, and it is how we use them that makes a world of difference. And the difference here is that I suggest, instead of waiting for Sunday or Monday to go through mental clutter and bring order to chaos, to use this exercise sporadically. If you're one of these overthinking types, then using the brain dump exercise regularly will help you deal with your anxiety much better than any meditation ever will be. So here's how you do it. First, get a blank sheet of paper. Ideally, its size should match the length of your list, aka the longer the list, the bigger the sheet of paper. The reason for it is this mind trick that when you have to flip pages to write down your list, it still fits into the concept of having open tasks. So if you want to trick your mind into completing the tasks, you will have to feed all of them onto one sheet of paper on one side. Step 2, simply list everything on your mind. Not all items will be traditional tasks. Some might be actual tasks like buy salt. Some of them might be questions like what I want to do for my birthday. Some will be ideas to explore, research color for future marketing campaigns. Some will be profound insights into your own life. Spending 10 minutes in nature makes me feel energized and happy for the rest of the day. Don't worry too much about the nature of these thoughts. The key here is to take everything from your mind and transfer it onto paper so that you can free up some mental space. Once you've written everything down, take a break. Don't touch the list for at least an hour. In fact, go for a walk, clean your apartment, work on something else, do anything but working on your list. After 1 hour has passed, return to your list and organize it. Try grouping related items into larger projects. For example, downloading materials for Project A and texting a colleague about a Project A can be grouped under working on a Project A. Decide which items need immediate attention, which can be scheduled for later, and which can be postponed indefinitely or abandoned altogether. For non-task items like insights or ideas, think whether you want to develop them right now or revisit them later. Again, the key here is simply getting everything out of your head and onto paper. You don't even have to work through the entire list immediately or ever. Just the act of writing it down frees up mental space and provides you much needed clarity about what truly matters. Exercise number 2. The information processor. Our second reason for mental clutter is information overload. We are an overconsumption society, and that refers to both material goods and information. I really like this old internet analogy that reading or consuming information in general is like breathing in, and writing is like breathing out. Talking to a friend can also be a form of breathing out, but unfortunately, many of us struggle to find time for deep conversations, and even when we do, it has to be an equal exchange. That's where this exercise comes in. I find it works best when paired with the first exercise, the brain dump. So, first, I want you to start with a brain dump. Create a bullet list of all the information you've consumed recently and all the insights you had. You might write down things like just finished reading, thinking fast and slow, and had several insights. Had a chat with a friend about sustainability that prompted thoughts about X, Y, and Z. Went for a walk and that triggered a profound realization about my own fatigue patterns. Once you have your list, choose one item at a time and explore it in writing. For example, if you start with a book review, you might write, "The writing style was very good, but I didn't find the examples as convincing as they could be. I would have preferred it much better if instead of using famous people's examples, the author had interviewed their own audience." However, the arguments about cognitive biases were compelling, so overall it's 3.5 out of 5. The exploration doesn't have to be exhaustive unless you feel like diving deeper. The goal here is to take thoughts out of your head and put them onto paper, help you organize them, and help you process whatever needs processing and further integration into your daily life. This exercise ensures you don't spend too much time in your head and helps you absorb whatever needs absorption. The exercise number 3. The radical acceptance letter. The final exercise addresses emotional turmoil, perhaps the most complex form of mental fog. It's most useful when we face complex emotions around loss, anxiety, uncertainty, or other life transitions. Even positive events such as graduation or starting a new job can create a lot of emotional baggage that clouds our thinking. I call this the anger ladder or the rage ladder, inspired by techniques from radical acceptance theory. And before you misunderstand, radical acceptance is not about indulging any harmful behaviors. It's about helping you making peace with the past and finding meaning in it. When faced with strong emotions, many of us find it difficult to integrate them into our lives. The radical acceptance ladder helps with that integration. Here's how you do it. First, choose your recipient. This can be a person, like a friend you're upset with, an entity, like a company where you feel underappreciated, or an emotion itself, like dear fear or hello anxiety. Address your recipient and express your raw emotions. Be completely honest about them. You won't actually send this letter. Use strong language if you feel like it. In fact, the more anger and frustration you express in these first few paragraphs, the more beneficial the exercise will be. Once you have expressed all your negative feelings, pause and consider positive things you received from the same recipient. For example, if you learn something from a conflict with a friend, acknowledge it. "Thank you for teaching me how to be okay with my anger." Or, "Thank you for teaching me how to stand up for my boundaries." Don't force gratitude if it's not there, but acknowledge any genuine positive aspects. Next, reflect on your own role in the situation. Again, it has nothing to do with victim blaming. It has nothing to do with them. It's all about you and helping you feel empowered and helping you make peace with your past. So going back to our previous example, you can write things like, "I see it was also my fault because I should have been clearer about my boundaries," or "I see now that I will need to work on my self-worth to not let such situations happen in the future." Or if we're talking about feeling underappreciated at work, it might be, "I should have been more vocal about my contributions at work." Finally, writing conclusion. What have you learned? What will you do differently from now on? How has this experience shaped you? This exercise is the longest out of all 3. It typically takes between 1 and 2 hours, but it might take even longer the first time you do it. So I highly recommend finding an uninterrupted block of time to complete it from start to finish. Otherwise, if you interrupt it midway, especially when you are in this anger phase, you'll carry that emotional turmoil with you. Once completed, you will feel lighter, because you have expressed your emotions and gained clarity about potential next steps. As a result, you will have more mental space and a sense of resolution. And this is it. Of course, there are many more exercises that help you gain clarity, including ones that get you out of your head and into your body. These three are simply the journaling techniques that I have personally found most effective. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comment section which exercise resonates the most with you. And as always, I wish you a great day and I will see you next time. Bye bye.